Hey guys, thanks for coming back to Reignited. We got a brand new project in the shop today. No, it's not our C10 back there, but that one's coming. You wait on that. Come check out what we got. All right, we're working on a 2006 Chrysler 300C. Not a very common car, honestly, but I actually really like these things. I was working at a dealer when they first came out, and man, that low roof line on there, I think the body lines of this car are terrific. And it's going to be a great project car. We just have to knock a little bit of the grandpa off of it. Boom, Hemi engine in there. Well, got most of a Hemi engine anyway. Missing a few bits here. So I picked this car up for a fantastic deal because it does have major engine problems. So that's the first item that we're going to address. We need to get this thing back running like it was from the factory. But more than that, I want to go ahead and customize this car a little bit. Now again, I think it has some potential there to really look very contemporary and have a very good aesthetic feel. First thing we need to do is attack this mechanical issue. And I'm going to take you with me step by step as I take this engine out, show you what went wrong and how we're going to fix it. Okay, so we need to go ahead and get this engine out of here. I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hood off completely because they don't open up all that high, so getting a cherry picker in here can be a little bit difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the hood entirely, just lay it on the roof of the car with some padding there, and then we'll proceed from there, unbolting things, and we'll get this thing yanked on out of here. Now a good tip before you pull your hood off is go ahead and mark the position of the bolts for the hood. That way when you go to put the nuts back in place, everything lines up like it's supposed to and the hood will shut properly and all your gaps will be decent. So I generally like to take a pick tool, something with just a sharp edge on it, and run it around the rim of the washer of the bolt. And it's just real quick, just make some light marks on there on all four of them, take it off. There, now I got some room to work with. Now the next thing we want to do here is this back panel is going to get in our way as well. So we need to take all this panel off, and there's a strut brace bar essentially that goes right here. We'll be taking that off as well. Let's do it. All right, so I wanted to bring you in for a close-up on removing the windshield wiper arm because a lot of people, these can be on here very tight because it's a tapered fit, it's got some grip to it. So people just start yanking on these things and like, I can't get this thing to come off there. Well, they do make a special tool for this that grabs around both sides, presses on the center, and pops these things off. And that's a good option, but more so than that, I'm gonna show you the one quick trick on how to get these things loose. What you wanna do is you wanna put pressure right here that pushes this portion of it down, and that will actually break that seal right here and allow this thing to come off. You can see right now, it's on there pretty good. I'm yanking on it pretty good, but watch this. Kind of put your hands, brace here, okay? Boom, just like that. So, quick tip on how to get your windshield wiper arms off. Now we can access everything on the back side of the engine and get to the bell housing bolts on the upper side. So I think the next thing to do is we're going to go ahead and raise this thing up in the air and drain all the fluids. Well, that's encouraging. All right, so while we got this thing up in the air, what we want to do is go ahead and try to take care of all these nasty spider webs because that's disgusting. Honestly, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and unbolt the torque converter, unbolt these bell housing bolts, all the ones that we can get to, and probably take off the covers, the exhaust heat shield covers for the motor mounts. That way we can access the motor mount bolts. Just everything we need to do from the bottom side, you know, disconnect the exhaust, everything we need to do from the bottom so that we can make sure this engine's ready to yank out, because we don't want to be going top to bottom to top to bottom again. When you're underneath the car, try to take care of everything you can so you can minimize the amount of times you have to go from top to bottom. Okay, so you've got everything loose. You've taken out your torque converter bolts, all of the bell housing bolts, basically anything that can be connected, power steering, air conditioning compressor on there, took off the alternator on there. Basically anything you can think of that might be attached, you've undone it, and now it's time to pull the engine out. We got the cherry picker hooked up on here, and inevitably, even though you think you took absolutely everything off, there'll probably be something still attached. But let's go ahead and yank this bad boy out. Yeah, just like that. Forgot to unbolt or undo one of the oxygen sensor plugs on there. All right, let's hope that's the only thing that's hanging me up. Ah yes, coolant all over the ground. Just what I was hoping for. So you might be wondering, why do we have two Hemi engines here? Well, both of these engines have some damage to them. This is the one from the 300. This is the one from another project. It's actually out of the 06 Ram 1500. But basically, I'm going to have to take some parts and pieces from each to put them together and make one good motor out of. So I need to disassemble both of these engines right now, get them down to a bare block, and then send the block out to the machine shop to have the cylinders honed on there. Okay, so we're going to start with this engine first. It may look fairly complete, but I just kind of tossed it all together for transportation reasons. It's actually fairly empty, so tearing it down should go fairly quickly down to the bare block. If only actually tearing down the engine was that easy, right? So I went ahead and marked the face of all the pistons with their bore number. That way they all go back in the same correct cylinder. It's time to start knocking these things out. Okay, we got all of the pistons and rods out of there. Now we're going to go ahead and take the crank out. So the main caps are stamped with each one they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they also show you the orientation of which they go, so there's really no chance of getting them mixed up, so that's nice. Don't want to lose the little thrust washers here that go on the center support. But I think that's pretty much it. The block's pretty much ready to go. We'll send it out to be machined. That's going to be it for today, guys. So next time, we're going to tear down the second block. Hopefully send that one off to the machine shop, get them both back, start reassembly.